Okay, so welcome to the inside of my car. Now, the first clip you're going to be able to see now is the dashboard. I'm sure you'd guess that. There's not many places you could fit any radios or any phones in this car. As you can see, it's all very tight and everything's sort of rounded off. Scrolling down slightly, you'll see the centre console. I've mounted a radio on, and on the floor I've mounted my phone. Now this is a Motorola 7800. Sorry, no, it's not. It's a 2700 Motorola Carphone. It's an international. It's quite an old phone. It's in fact a very old phone. I've had it many years. It comes in the form of a transportable kit and a car kit. And basically what you can do, you can unplug that handset that you can see there, and you can plug it into a plastic case. Inside that plastic case has a battery and an antenna, and then there's a transceiver that's in the boot at the moment that very quickly unhooks, very easily slides out and plugs into the plastic casing, making a transportable car phone or a transportable phone. These are really popular in the 80s, sort of early 90s, because handheld phones weren't really sort of introduced until quite a bit later on. So the only mobile phones they had were, in fact, the car phones and the transportables. The advantage of these are that these phones were designed around cellular networks that weren't quite as large as they are today. So they needed more power in order to be able to work. Now this is one of the GSM versions, so this is a newer version of the old style phone, which was again made for exactly the same reason, because there's a bit more power and people don't necessarily want to take handheld phones with them. A lot of the time these are fitted into lorries and vehicles for transport, and handhelds just weren't really necessary. I got hold of one several years ago, and I've always used them in the cars that I've had. I had one in the Picasso. I took it out, I put it in the Toronto. That was the last vehicle that I had that you've seen. I think I did a video on it with the amateur radio. Take a look at that video, it's quite an interesting video. And because I've got it and it doesn't cost anything to have, I thought I would install it into the car as well. We do a lot of camping, we go away a lot, go into areas where phone coverage isn't always that good. In fact, a lot of the times there's no existence of signal that we can pick up on the handhelds. So I wanted a phone that would work. Now what I've done, I've got connected to the Tesco mobile network. Tesco's operates on the O2 network, the old Cellnet. So the coverage I find is very good on that. But even this phone struggles in some areas, but at least it gives you the chance to make a phone call or receive if you'd need to in an emergency. Handhelds, a lot of the time, especially out in the country or sort of Wales, South Wales area, south of the country, it's very difficult. In fact, even going up north where you go to the lakes, you sometimes struggle there as well. But having a phone that you can use is great. Unfortunately, my everyday phone, which is a Samsung, that's on the EE network, which is orange, which is the old, sort of used to be known as the PCN network, and this is GSM. PCN works on a very different frequency. It's higher than GSM. So the SIM cards are not compatible. This phone would only work if you had Vodafone or O2. I say O2, it could be Tesco's. So those are the networks that we're looking at. So what I've done, I've bought a pay-as-you-go SIM card, put £10 on it, and as long as I make a very quick phone call every now and again, then it'll keep the SIM card working. But I can keep it switched on constantly because the current drain is surprisingly quite low on this, and providing that you're using the car every day, then obviously that's going to charge the battery up whilst you're moving around. So sometimes I'll leave the car, or leave the house rather, and I won't take the handheld phone with me because it's a bit of a pain, or I'm just not in the mood for carrying it. In my job, I'm constantly on radios or on phones, and sometimes it's nice just to go down to the shops or pop out somewhere and not have to worry about it. Yet people have this number, and if they need me in sort of an emergency or, quite desperately, they can call me on this. So it is useful to have. So let's have a look at some of the features that the phone can do. So the handset itself, it's quite a nice handset. Well, as nice as handsets go. It works as a fantastic hands-free car phone as well. And I'll try to demonstrate that to you shortly. As you can see, if I bring it a little bit in, I'm having to look at the viewfinder because of the light problem. But you can see I'm on Tesco's network and I've got full signal. You'd expect full signal where you are anyway. Now you can receive text messages on this, but you can't send. So if I go on to, the menu is really difficult to remember how to use, to be honest. Go into menu options, you can scroll across to various call features, phone setup, network selections, call meters, setting up accessories, phone setup again, we're going around now. If we have a look in phone setup, okay, adjust the ringing volume, okay, that's as loud as it is. Okay, we can change the ringer on and off. We can even change the tone. British tone. Ah, wrong button, bear with. Let's go into the menu again. Okay, ringer tone, okay. The French tone. German tone. Or Bravo. I think the Bravo's probably my favourite. Well, now you see that was advanced. We'll have Bravo. That music was advanced, isn't it, really, compared to what you can do nowadays with phones. But anyway, there you go. So that's sort of how the menu sort of works on it. And there you go. So that just fits in nicely. Clicks and locks into place. To answer the phone, it's very, very simple. You just pick it up and start talking. If you want to use the hands-free facility, to answer the phone, you just press OK, and automatically the voice comes out of the speakers and the microphone, which I'll show you shortly. So let's go to the front of the car and have a closer look. Okay, so from the driver's seat then, from the driver's point of view, we're sat here in the car, driving along, doing what we need to do, and if I need to access the phone, it's very easy to get to whilst I'm driving. Clicking those two buttons to the side picks the handset up. Okay. Now, easy to do when you're looking at it. So basically the wiring loom, I'm going to show you the back shortly, but the handset plugs into this little connector here. Now very easily I can press that little button in and just pull the cable out, removing this whole handset, and this will then enable me to hide it away or to fasten it to the transportable if that's what I want to do. But I don't. I always leave it in here. There's no need to take it out for me. So that then wires basically underneath the seat, and then it goes, I'll show you shortly, goes out the back, and you can see those wires there and then into the boot. Now bear with me because I've got some wires hanging down from the camera going to the radio receiver for the microphone. Let's keep those out of the way. So at the front of the car then, a bit further forward, I've got my amateur radio, and then behind the microphone I've got the speaker. That speaker is connected to the hands-free for the telephone itself, and then cable goes underneath there, down into the corner into the wiring loom, coming up the top all the way up there and across the roof is the microphone. Now this is a little plastic moulding here which is ideal for a microphone, but the only problem is this microphone here is quite an old mic, and there's some circuitry inside here connected to the microphone element, and the whole thing is too big to fit inside there. So I was going to hopefully get rid of this plastic casing and mount it all inside here, but you just can't do it. The circuit board itself won't fit in. So unfortunately, I've got that microphone there, but it's not too bad. You can't see the cables, and it's fairly neat enough. Doesn't look too bad really. The cable's running along the side. Now these are sun visors that slide forward, so I've been careful not to chop any of the cabling. I brought the wiring along here, across there for the microphone, and down again. So that's how I've done that. Let's have a quick look, see how it works. So I'm trying to get the angle right for the handset so you don't get dazzled by the light. As the phone is in standby mode there, you just dial the number that you want to dial. Did it wrong. Well, the number is hide that number so you don't see it. So you've got the number dialed in there. You press the OK button, and then hopefully you'll hear it and see it ringing. There we go. Phone's upside down. So what you do then, answer it, and there you go. That was probably a bit of a pointless exercise, wasn't it? But you can see that it works. And it's simple, very simple. So it's a nice phone, works really well. And let's now take a look at the wiring loom and how I've installed it into the back and what it's all about. So the cabling then, from the handset, the wiring loom for the handset comes down underneath the seat, and just under that column there, it comes under the bit of the carpet to the back of the car. Also, there's a junction under there where there's two wires that go back again under the seat to the front, one for the speaker and one for the microphone. All the wires ultimately end up just here, which then go into the boot. So as I showed you before, this is the live feed for the telephone. That is going to be connected properly at some point. It is fused down before any comments come through to me. That is properly fused, so we're safe. We're not going to have any problems with that. The earthing is these two wires here. They go underneath this plastic where I've drilled onto the car body. And these are the main wires, your microphone, your speaker, and the handset wiring loom. And this is all the transceiver. This is all it is, this device here. Now, I was explaining to you about disconnecting this and being able to take it as a transportable telephone. Very simple to do. Turn the handset off, which I have done now. Unscrew this. There should be a screw there, but I've lost it. That connector just comes out. Press the button here, slide it forward, and there you go. That's the transceiver. SIM card just slides in there. Now, this is so simple, it's unreal. The antenna itself, this is what would normally come off and fasten onto the box to make it the transceiver. I haven't got a proper Carphone antenna yet. There's two that I'm looking at. There's one that's a glass mount. Well, it's a glass mount, and also there's a body mount. But I'm also looking at like a dipole effect, which will fasten to the inside of a window. So I've not decided which ones to go for yet. They're not that expensive, to be honest. But obviously I think the body mount will be the best antenna to get, but I don't particularly want to be drilling a hole in the roof for that. So there's a couple I'm looking at, like I say. But for the moment, this aerial works just as well. Whether that will work in areas where I need it to work is debatable. It probably won't be as good as it could be, but still, with the power that you use and the power that you get from a transportable, that will still be better than handheld. So in areas where handheld won't work, there's still a good chance this one will. So that just pops in, slides back, and that's locked. That's now secured, that's going nowhere. That then plugs into there, which powers the phone up. I've just heard it beeping. Tighten it up so it doesn't come loose, and it's neat, it's tidy, and it's out of the way. So there you go, that's installation. So there's the Carphone that I've shown you now, and there's the main electrical supply going into the boot. I will do a proper viewing or proper video soon of the boot when the electrics are done properly. But like I've explained, I'm back to work tomorrow and time was sort of running out and I needed to get up and running just to see whether it'd work. And I'm pleased with it, it works really well. The phone works great, even though, like I say, it's only a small antenna. Ideally, there'll be a hole drilled about here for the antenna, but for the Carphone and for the use it gets, I'm not prepared to drill this car body, not just for that. If it was something like an amateur radio or something that I use every day, then I may consider drilling a hole, but certainly not for the Carphone, not when the aerial that I'm using at the moment works well enough for what I've done for the time being. Okay, so well, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's probably given you a bit of an insight into a proper Carphone, and for some of the younger viewers who've never seen a Carphone, that's what a Carphone is. There are many benefits for the Carphone over a handheld. You know, you feel really vulnerable now sometimes when you leave the house without a phone. We get so used to them and really depend on them a lot. But I remember when the Carphones first came out, here we go, this is me sounding old now, but I remember when the Carphones first came out, you felt an enormous feeling of freedom to be able to go away with a phone, even though it's bolted into the car. And if you leave your car, you can't use your phone, can you? But phones have really come along a long way since then. So anyway, thanks for watching again, and catch me on my next video, which will be for the radio installation.